Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This week I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight season 12 episode 12. Um this week there was a bit more drama with some of the other couples, and some of it I found it to be really unnecessary, and this is why I think it's very important for them to have input from the experts. I don't know whether it's because they're trying to see if the couples can work through their problems on their own, or because of social distancing they are not able to meet up with them as much as possible. But I think the experts could have even done, a Zoom meeting with the couples with some of the issues they were having. Anyway, we'll start off with Haley and Jacob. Haley and Jacob seem to be on a better footing in this episode, because last week there was the incident whereby Jacob confronted Haley, saying that you're not applying as much effort as you should be, and she was sort of saying that she had done her best and she didn't know what else to do. And this week they seemed to be sort of working together, even though Jacob appeared to be just a couple of steps behind, because they didn't appear to have any confrontation. They tried to sort of stay on neutral ground, and they seemed to be getting on very well. They met up with Brianna and Vincent, and went. They were looking for pumpkins and stuff, and they seemed, to actually get some insight from Brianna and Vincent, because Brianna and Vincent were able to take them aside and sort of have a conversation with them to see how their relationships were working and to see how they could help them sort of maneuver whatever problems they had. And so when they went back to their apartment, they made their meal and they seemed to be getting on very well. Brianna, sorry, Haley did complain that Jacob is not. He's, at times you're talking to him and he doesn't contribute to anything. And for me, I think it's just that he's socially awkward. He's somebody who's not very good at conversations, whereby he doesn't know any. It seems like he has problems with social cues, in the sense that at times some of the things he says are inappropriate, or at times he says things that are off-putting, and he doesn't realize that they're off-putting, and he keeps going and going and going. So those were sort of her complaints, and she did explain that they had an issue for their 1 month anniversary. But this week they seemed to be better. It's a pity that they've started to apply more effort towards the end of their 8 weeks. But hopefully next week they meet up with Pastor Carl and Dr. Pepper. So hopefully they'll be able to help them. But I don't see them staying together. I think it's just a matter of time before they both say they want to get divorced on decision day. Um, from them, we move on to Brianna and Vincent. Brianna and Vincent are doing great. They went bike riding, because I think last week or the week before they showed us, a scene where Vincent was bought a bicycle for Brianna. So they went for a bicycle ride, and I think one thing that is making Brianna fall more and more in love with Vincent, in my opinion, is the fact that um, he seems to really care about her and really tries to put her needs first, and she really appreciates that about him. They say they're getting along very well. They say, they're enjoying, being in each other's company. They had a chat about the 1 month anniversary, and Brianna was appreciative of that. They had a conversation about where, Vincent would like Brianna to take him for a date, and he went on and on and on. He had this massive list of all the places he wants them to visit, which is good because it shows that he's planning ahead past the 8 week anniversary, 8 week mark. So I think with Brianna and Vincent, even they might have issues, but I don't think they'll be as big as the other couples. And I think it's you can see that on decision day they're going to say yes. It's not like they've had a lot of problems like the other couples. Mm, so hopefully they continue on that path, and they get to decision day and then they move on with their life as a couple. From there we saw Chris meet up with his mother, and Paige, we saw her meet up with her brother and sisters and sister-in-law. And with Paige, it seems she's been talking to her family members, because she said to her brother, after the last time we spoke, this and then she updated him on what's happened since then, about the incident of Chris saying he wants to file, they're done and he's filing for a divorce, and her brother did try to sort of. For me, I understand people of faith and religion and stuff, but I think at times people put a lot of emphasis on it, because her brother did say, "Oh, God is trying to test you, and this is something you have to go through." And this is the same reason Paige has been giving as to why she wants to stay in this marriage. And it's really sad, that she continues to put up with this. And she seemed more vocal when she was talking to her brother. But then the sad thing is, every time she meets up with anybody outside of Chris, apart from the one time when she said, "You're wasting my time," she's very vocal, and she expresses herself about how unhappy she is. And then when Chris is around, she's just compliant with whatever he wants to do and whatever he wants to say. I saw a clip of their decision day where Chris, says, "I'm speaking for myself and Paige. We're undecided," and it's like, why would you speak for her? This is a very important decision that she needs to make. So hopefully this is the end of their marriage, but as we saw on the clip for decision day, apparently they're going to say we are undecided, and Dr. Viviana, I think, is going to intervene. So I don't know with those two. Chris meets up with his mom. He tells her about Paige. His mom, compliments Paige. Oh, she's a very nice girl. Yes, she's a very nice girl, but I don't think, unless it was edited out, I don't think Chris's mom, her presence there, did anything, because as a parent, she should have spoken to her son. She should have told him to take responsibility for his actions. He is responsible for the breakdown in his marriage. He is responsible for impregnating his ex-fiance. And so for her, I just thought she was a bit wishy-washy. And he seemed very happy to be meeting up with his mom. When his mom was complimenting Paige, he didn't behave the no way he would normally behave, whereby he would just, halt the conversation, or he would storm out, or he'd throw a tantrum. This time he just kept quiet as soon as his mom started talking about Paige, which shows to me that he respects his mother and he values her opinion. But she should have given him, unless she told him off camera, or unless they edited it out, I think she should have said a lot more. She should have spoken to her son as a son and explained to him about how he was treating Paige and how he should be treating, any female he's in a relationship with. But then I don't know. Maybe something else happened. We don't know. We can only go by what we're shown. Um. So that was it. And then there was a clip of where he was asked about Paige's dog, and he said, "I don't care about Paige's," and it's just like, you know, of all the things he could have said, I think Chris is a jerk. I'm sorry. I think he's a jerk, and I think he's very so sort of self-centered that he doesn't think about other people or their opinions or their feelings. Because how is Paige supposed to be saying we haven't made a decision and she's staying with someone when that person doesn't even care about what she likes and what the things that she values? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. This guy, I don't know. He just winds me up. From there we go on to Ryan and Clara. We didn't really see much of Ryan and Clara this episode, just because Clara had to go away for work for 3 days. So I think maybe this is why we didn't really see much of them. We did see them at the start of the episode where they were doing their yoga, tandem yoga. And it reminded me of Zach and Mindy. And I think Clara needs to take a deep breath for a bit and just chill for a moment, because I know a lot of people are going at Ryan saying, why is he not, giving in? Why is he not sleeping with her? And he has explained himself. And for me, if someone is saying, I don't want to do it because I don't like the person, it's one thing, as compared to someone who's saying, I am waiting, I'm giving us time. It's only been 4 weeks. If they were married for a year and you said, oh, he doesn't want to sleep with his wife a year later or 6 months later, then there is a problem. He is very touchy-feely with her. It's not like, he doesn't want to touch her or be next to her. All the time you see them, they're always cuddling or holding each other's hands and stuff. So I don't see where the problem is. I understand she is anxious, but she needs to explain to him why she is very anxious about them having sex. And so I don't know. I think it's they really need to understand each other. I've said this before. They really need to understand each other and they really need to communicate better because they showed a clip of Clara next week, sort of going off about why is Ryan not, having sex with her, and it's like those are not the people she should be discussing that with. She should either be discussing it with Ryan himself, or if he's not listening, maybe the experts or one of his close friends. But then maybe that's just me. We'll see. And when she came back, they 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 were catching up and they were discussing because Ryan had taken her dog for training because he said he wanted to bond with the dog better, and she still seems very upset. Clara still seems very upset about the fact that there's no physical intimacy, or she says, they are doing some things and not other things. And so I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they need to separate." No, it's not something to separate about. It's something they should work on. All they need to do is sit down and talk. It's not such a big deal. It's one thing if he says, "No, I don't like you. I don't want to touch you." All he's saying is, "I want us to grow as a couple. I want us to get to know each other. I want us to develop an emotional connection before we bring in sex." I don't see anything bad about that. And the fact that it's only been 4 weeks, I think at times with the experiment, people forget that it's only a couple of weeks and it's not like it's been going on for months. Yes, it does seem like months, but it's only 4 weeks. So hopefully they'll work on that. And hopefully when they meet up with Pastor Carla and Dr. Pepper, that's something they'll be able to address. Or hopefully by then, Ryan will have given her. But he seems to be falling in love with her. He seems to be paying attention. He wants to be able to, to look after her pet better. He's trying to listen to her and do the things for her that she wants done. It's just a matter of he's not had slept with her. I don't know. And anyway, maybe there's something I'm missing. From there we go on to Eric and Virginia. Eric and Virginia. It's really sad. They really struggled this week. I think the problem with Eric and Virginia is the fact that they've been avoiding any controversial topics or anything that they feel is going to sort of create tension between the two of them. And they said this when they met with the experts previously, that we're trying to stay off subjects that we know will bring conflict. And because of that, I think because of their avoidance, this is why they're struggling, because they don't have the tools to sort of cope with whatever challenges they're facing. Because I don't think Eric is controlling. I think the problem is the age difference, in the sense that Eric is at a certain stage in life and Virginia is still going through, he's in his 30s, he's more mature, she's still, living life in her 20s, she's enjoying herself. And so I did see an issue in the conversation, in the sense that Virginia was saying that, I am changing. And yes, you're going to change. You're not going to remain the same person. The constant thing in life is change. And so she's going to change as she gets to know her husband, as they become a unit, and as they continue to grow and they later start a family. They were going on about the dog, about Rocky and stuff, but I don't think it had anything to do with Rocky. I think the poor pet was just caught in the middle, because Eric was saying they went out and Virginia disappeared for 40 minutes. Where were you? And it's like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. You go out together and then somebody goes away for 40 minutes without telling you where they're going. Not even the bathroom would take 40 minutes, even if there was a long queue. So I think they struggled, and Virginia actually said that she got the dog because she was depressed, and I think it was something to sort of help her cope through the depression. And so they really need help. This is where I was asking, where are the experts? Because they really need the experts to help them sort of maneuver these topics that they themselves are struggling with. Because everybody else is saying, oh, they're not going to last. I see them lasting because their issues are not as bad as Jamie and Elizabeth. No, it's not like they like to fight and stuff. It's just their communication, which is something that most of the couples on Married at First Sight struggle with, is communication, because people communicate differently. And if you cannot compromise on your communication, that's when the problem comes. And so I hope they seemed towards the end of the episode to be working through whatever they're struggling with. Because even when Virginia met up with Paige and Brianna, she did mention the issues she was having. And I hope continuing to talk to the other couples and continuing to talk to the other wives will help her understand that the things she thinks are very serious are not really that serious. And I think they need to understand that in marriage there's always going to be conflict because you're constantly trying to understand each other. No matter how many years you've been married, you're always going to have conflict. So hopefully they will listen to everybody else and they will try. The one thing I loved was that Virginia said she was going to get counseling, which is something that I think she needs because she's previously said she's got abandonment issues. So I think it's something that she needs. But it's not just personal counseling that she needs. I think as a couple, if they're going to continue in their marriage, they will also need counseling as a couple because they come from two different worlds and they're trying to blend to form one family, and they will need help to do that. Otherwise, they're going to end up divorced. But I don't see them getting divorced over the issues that they have at the moment. And then talking about the wives and the husbands met up, minus Chris. Had a conversation. They were talking, about everything, their pets, their relationships, and they were able to help each other. And poor Ryan thinks he's doing a great job. I think he's doing a great job. Yes, there is the issue about the sex, but I don't think it's as bad as what everybody else is dealing with because there's no point in you sleeping with someone and them treating you like crap. Whereas Paige was sleeping with Chris and he treated her like crap after he did that. Whereas Ryan is treating Clara very well. And so I understand what she wants, but I think she should just try and be patient. The ladies met up, Paige, Brianna, and Virginia. And it was really nice for them to meet up because they were giving each other, they were just updating each other because they seem to have created a very strong bond like wives in previous seasons. And so they were just talking and catching up. And Paige started to tell the ladies about Chris and where their relationship stood. And you can tell that the other ladies are very disappointed for her, and they were happy when she said no, we're done, because I think in their minds they can see that Chris is wasting her time and Chris is not being the best husband he can be. And Paige says, oh, I can see how he could have been an ideal husband. And I'm like, where? He told your family members he wasn't attracted to you. He's treated you like crap. He's walked away and left you alone on your honeymoon. He's come back and told you that his ex-fiancée is pregnant. He's bought his ex-fiancée. Like, where would he be your ideal man? Unless you're talking about his physical features. Nothing else is done or said would indicate in any form of way that he is the ideal husband for anyone. But then I think the girls are trying not to hurt her feelings because in the interviews they give their honest opinions, but with her they're just smiling and just trying to encourage her and make sure that she keeps going and make sure that she remains in a positive frame of mind. I don't know. We'll see what happens anyway. Anyway, that's it. We'll see you next week, guys. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thanks, guys. Bye.